Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 2020 Sylacauga Municipal Election Candidate Forum. Our promise is to give you, the voter, a better insight of each candidate and what he or she stands for. Stepping up and putting your name on a ballot takes courage. Been there, done that. We are about to go live. We are live now on TV and radio. Therefore, whether you agree or disagree with an opinion or a view, we ask that you provide respect for each of our candidates. This is not a political rally. Disruptions from the audience will not be allowed. The Sylacauga Police Department is here, and they will escort those violating this rule out of the building. I do want to thank the local media that are participating today, TV 47, B101, WFEB, also Radio Alabama. And I want to thank one particular person. He wrote this today, and he did not put his name in here, but I do want to thank Ken Brewer of Sylacauga Today. Ken's actually the one that got all this together and got all of us involved in it. So if y'all would give Ken a nice round of applause. My name is Bruce Carr from B101 WFEB. What I'd like for you to do now, if you don't mind, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from TV 47, Jimmy Dale Abrams.
I want to ask you to stand one more time before we get started with the candidates. I promise you this hopefully will be one of the last times you stand. It is an honor for us to be here tonight, and thank all the individuals who are running for office, and we're glad that we'll be able to hear them and from them tonight. We got word earlier today that incumbent City Council member Tiffany Nix, her mother, passed away at some point this morning, and we certainly want to be praying for Tiffany and her family, and that God would be with them and guide them through this horrific time that they're undergoing. Let's pray together. Father, it's with grateful hearts that we come together tonight. Thank you that we live in this great land called America, with all its bruises and bumps and problems we have. It's still the greatest country on the face of the earth. Lord, we thank you for Alabama. We thank you for Sylacauga. And we thank you that we're here tonight to hear from these men and women that have decided that they want to make a difference, or they have decided they want to continue to make a difference. We ask that you be with us tonight. And Lord, may what we say and do bring you honor and glory, because it's all about you anyway. And we thank you in advance for this election. There's going to be a lot of people ponder in the coming days who to vote for. Our prayer is that they would ask you, and that you would guide their thoughts and their steps in the polling place on the 25th of August. We give you praise for all this accomplished. For in Christ's name we pray. All of God's people said, amen and amen. You may be seated. We began our Sylacauga City Council portion with District 1. And to address the audience first is District 1 incumbent Mr. Ashton Fowler.
Evening, everybody. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Everybody tuning in. I appreciate you taking the time out of your night to listen to what we have to say. Citizens of District 1, if you're here, there, or the other, I want to thank you for the love and support that you guys have showed me over these last 4 years, and the constructive criticism. You've made me into the councilman I am today, and I like to think that, it's a group effort. I'm just here to get your voices heard, concerns out there, and answer the questions that you need answering. And I want to be that body and that mind to help you out through these times in the next 4 years. So I'm looking forward every morning to righting each wrong and to answering any questions and concerns that I get via email, phone, Facebook, anything. I reach out to each and every one and make sure that they have an answer, whether it be from me or the expert on the matter. This town has raised me, and by serving as your city councilman, I think that's one way that I can give back, and I enjoy it, and I think that I want to do everything I can to make this city stronger and prosper more in the future. So every decision that I make on this council is always financially feasible, logistically efficient, and of course best prosper the city of Sylacauga. Now, I'm not always right in my opinions. I'm the first one to tell you. We cannot push another council member's opinions on each other and expect it to go seamlessly smooth. So what I do in these uncertain situations, I put my pride to the side. I listen out to all 5 or other 4 members of the council, see their opinions on the matter, and like I said before, what best prospers for the city of Sylacauga and makes the most sense, I'm going to go with and I'm going to vote for. So it's not, my way or the highway with this situation. It's going to be the best for the city. And I'm willing to back off my opinion and go with somebody else's if it's better. So I previously mentioned, ideas or opinions of other council members can be better at sometimes than what you come up with. So you're going to have to go with that. And that's something that I've gotten used to and done well this past term. District 1, if you've ever reached out to me, you know that I return your calls, emails, and messages, and I make sure that I take each one very seriously. If I can answer them right off the bat, I will. If I have to do some research, I will. I'll get you your answer. I'll get you in touch with a person or department that can give you that answer, because I don't have them all. I have a great network of individuals and boards around the city that I work with. They help me out a lot, and I give advice to them when I'm prompted, but most of the time it's me asking for advice from them. So the great working relationship that I've developed with them over the years is something I deeply cherish and I'm thankful for. So on August 25th, I need you to vote for Fowler and invest in the best, and let's go for another 4 years and make my district and my hometown proud. Thank you.
Our next candidate for Sylacauga City Council District 1 is Mr. Mike Landers.
Bruce, Jimmy Dale, and thank all of y'all for coming out. It's important that we have these forums so that we can identify who the candidates are and what they stand for. And I had some prepared remarks, but that's not me. I'm a shoot-from-the-hip kind of guy. I would tell you that you can find a detailed biography of Mike Landers if you'll look at Sylacauga Today or read Denise Sinclair's upcoming article that will appear in the Daily Home about all of the candidates. So I'm going to skip that part. Just know that I was born and raised right here in Sylacauga, within 10 miles of this site. Been here all my life. Grew up at Fayetteville, graduated Fayetteville High School, hold undergraduate and graduate degrees from the University of Alabama. And I'm running for city council, and I ask you for your vote in District 1, and I'll tell you why. The question you have to ask yourself is, do you feel better about Sylacauga and what's happening there today than you did 4 years ago? And if you do, you need to stick with what you got. If you think there's a better way, you need to give those of us that are looking to offer a better way the chance to do it. I can tell you that there are some things in Sylacauga that desperately need to be corrected, and there are some things that I don't understand why have happened. The diminishment of the Parks and Rec department is critical. We've got a pool that's closed and our children can't swim. So, I think the council saved you from needing any of these. Don't worry about these. The kids can't swim. And what about the longest running pageant in the history of the state of Alabama, the Miss Sylacauga pageant? Let's toss that out. We don't need that anymore. And what about the Midnight Massacre on something sacred to a lot of us, Sylacauga Little League. I heard one of the councilmen call it an assassination. And you know, it fits. An assassination is something done in the dark. It's done when you don't expect it. It's done for political reasons. I'm going to tell you, folks, things have got to change. If we don't start focusing on moving Sylacauga forward, and I'm going to tell you from day one, I'm going to work to kill this misguided effort to move the Parks and Rec down to Main Street. Let me tell you what, there have been 2 police shootings. There's been a guy trying to inspect a rotted down building and he fell through and killed himself. We're still not going to have a pool. We're going to have a splash pad. It's very fashionable. Splash pads are the wave of the future, and offer nothing to your swim teams, to your adults. And then look at this site that's proposed for Parks and Rec. Right in the middle of railroad tracks. You'll have to build prison-type fences, and you'll have to cancel every meeting you have because the trains will be switching. I'm just telling you, there's so many misguided ideas that have come from this council. We can do better. Thank you.
Our third candidate for Sylacauga City Council District 1 is Mr. Albert Patton, Jr.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I did prepare a speech. Well, actually, I didn't. The people in the district prepared this speech for me. One people, one voice, one Sylacauga. Just a little about myself. I'm the son of the late Pastor John and Sister Adeline Patton. I serve in the audio and video room at New Maryland Missionary Baptist Church under the leadership of Pastor Eric Richardson. I was educated in Sylacauga County school system. I'm a disabled veteran, a born leader who has held leadership positions with such companies as Airbnb and Honda. I decided to run for City Council to be the voice of the people of District 1. For too long, the people have been without that voice. The people in the districts are telling me that they want the brush overran storm ditches cleaned out, better lighting in the communities, more entertainment for the kids, and better roads, just to name a few. A vote for me, Albert L. Patton, on August the 25th, 2020, will give you, the people, that voice. One people, one voice, one Sylacauga. God bless you.
At the end of each council representative's 3 minutes, if there are any in District 1 candidates who would like to rebut anything that's been said, you have 1 minute to do that. So if any of the 3 would like to do that, you can now come at this time.
Guys, I just want to say everybody that knows me and has reached out and talked and asked about the concerns with Little League Cal Ripken versus back in the past, they know that I was trying to better the community and put 2 groups into one in a town of 12,000 plus. And, you know, whether it be Dixie Youth, Dizzy Dean, some other organization we hadn't heard of, I was willing to bring each commissioner to the table, and which we couldn't get in touch with, but we brought Little League, we brought Cal Ripken, and it wouldn't go through. They didn't want to do it, so that's fine. We pushed separate ways, and we went the other way and had 2 seasons. 2 different people, 2 kids playing on opposite sides of the town, and that was fine. $250,000 to fix a pool or $250,000 to have a brand new facelift on that property that is the same distance away from a railroad track than the current Main Street Community Center would be. Thank you.
I can't let it go unaddressed that we're talking about $250,000 to repair a pool and get kids back swimming, as opposed to a pipe dream. And you hear this every 4 years, we're going to build something new in recreation. How many of you are using something new in recreation? That's what I want to ask you. The other is that we can't get a grant at Parks and Rec because the program's been so poorly mismanaged that there aren't any grants available due to some problems down at Moon Park. So that all sounds good, but it is what it is.
All right, thank you, candidates for District 1. Now we'll move on to Sylacauga City Council District 2. The first candidate up is Andrew Morgan.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Andrew Morgan. I'm running for City Council in District 2. I decided to run for this position because I have new and fresh ideas that I'd like to bring forth to the council. I have a very strong work ethic and leadership ability, and I believe that I could lead Sylacauga and District 2 into the right direction. If elected into office, I would work hard with Reed Calfee and the street department to ensure that roads are being evaluated and properly maintained. As councilman of District 2, I would like to see what we can do about roads being properly maintained. And if elected, I would be in constant contact with Mr. Calfee and the street department. In Sylacauga, we have ordinances against abandoned houses and vacant lots, but many houses have been neglected and lots are way overgrown. These two things are important because if these houses or lots are cleaned up, it will increase surrounding property values, and business investors always like to see a clean community that one takes pride in. I can't forget about our youth because they're their future. I would like to bring in entertainment options for our youth and young adults. I would work very hard to bring in a safe activity center for the youth here in the Marble City. This could bring in new and exciting job opportunities for the citizens of Sylacauga. It would also serve as a safe and fun place for our youth to go and enjoy. And trash pickup is important to Sylacauga because you are paying for twice-a-week services, but you're only receiving once-a-week trash pickup. I would attempt to renegotiate the contract with Republic to get you twice-a-week services and also your recycled materials. If elected, I will always be available. I will respond to your questions and concerns no matter what the need may be, how big or small. I promise that we will work and resolve any of our issues together. And I'll always be just a phone call or email away from you. And in closing, I'll never embarrass you as your councilman. I'll always stand and pledge the American flag. God bless Sylacauga and God bless America.
As we mentioned earlier, Tiffany Nix, who is the incumbent for District 2, is not with us tonight due to the death of her mother. So we'll move on to LaFerrin Dion Smith.
Good afternoon. I pledge allegiance to God first, then to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God. Amen. I understand, just like our founding fathers, that this country is not perfect. But I would not disrespect the flag, our servicemen and women, and just the common man of this country. I work for several different people in this city, and trash pickup is very important. I simply don't understand why the citizens pay for 2 days of trash pickup but get next to none. We can work together regardless of race, creed, and color to make this city great again. I don't have any notes up here, y'all. I do not agree that we need to tear down our rec centers. We can make our rec centers great again if they have a problem. I don't want to be vindictive or mean. Like I say, I respect everybody, but we got to be about our business 24/7. We have enough people in this city, interested in this city, that love this city, that we can work together and we can get things done. I just want to say that I don't support letting all the profits go to one big CEO or anything like that. We can work together and spread the money out. Thank y'all, and you all have a blessed day.
All right, at this time, any of the candidates from District 2 want to rebut? You got 1 minute. Mr. Abrams?
Next is Sylacauga City Council District 3 candidates. The incumbent, Mr. Donnie Blackman.
Thank you very much, and it's certainly been an honor and a pleasure serving District 3. If you'll remember some of the statements I made when I was elected back or running back in 2016, that at the end of 4 years that I wouldn't have to tell you what I've done. You should be able to tell me. And I feel like that you can do that today. And I will certainly have some comments and rebuttal on some of the comments that's already been made. But I'm not going to waste my whole 3 minutes spending it on that. But I just want to name a few accomplishments that our city's had and hopefully some goals that I personally have in our city. Starting back in 2017, I'm just going to start naming some companies, some manufacturing companies. NEMAC's one of them. Hocking International's one of them. Purcell Agritech is one. Plasticolor is one, or Plastical is one. Bluebell is one. IKO is one. Fleetwood is one. And we mentioned Purcell Agriculture or Agriculture. During the improvements that they've done has created an extra 270 plus jobs. That happened during our administration. These companies put up in excess of $140 million here in our city. We're part of that. We've had RetailCom, the Sylacauga Square, which was in the making, but it come into being. Ollins did Dirt Cheap did, Workout Anytime did, American Deli did, and others have. I'm a liaison to Coosa Valley Medical Center. our museum, our shop, and our Chamber of Commerce. Some of the things that we need, and we need more paving. We've done the major paving job that this city has ever done. We've paved every major street in this town, and there's more that needs paving. We need more upgrades. James Payton Boulevard, there's some things in the making for that. Our Parks and Rec, and I'll speak a little about that a little bit later. Lake Howard, we've done major improvements out there. Coosa Valley Medical Center, some of the visions I've got, we're honored and blessed by God our Father to have Coosa Valley Medical Center here as our hospital. We need to do some stuff to advance them and help them. I promise again, as I did then, I'll be fair, honest, and accountable to you that put me in office. And I promise to shape my life by Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 and 6, where it says, lean not upon thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and I shall direct thy paths. I promise to continue to do that.
There are 3 candidates in Sylacauga City Council District 3. The next candidate is Mr. Timothy Nate Brewer.
What was failed to mention on the accomplishments as far as street paving was we're also $42 million in bond debt. We can't borrow Peter and pay Paul, okay? Good evening. Rosa Parks once said, to bring about change, you must not be afraid to take the first step. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nate Brewer, and I'm ready to take that step to go to work for and with the citizens of District 3 on the Sylacauga City Council. August the 25th will be a very important day for the future of my hometown and the city I love. You have the opportunity to bring about change to our city government, and I'm asking for your vote and support as the representative for District 3 on the Sylacauga City Council. I will be receptive. I will be responsive to everyone, not just a chosen few. If this had been going on, I would not be standing here today. When I'm elected to represent District 3 on the Sylacauga City Council, I will be my own person. In other words, I will be outspoken. I will ask questions and not be another yes vote. As the Sylacauga City Council representative for District 3, I will be honest, I will be fair to everyone, I will be sensible in my decision making, and by all means I will be caring towards the people and the feelings. My first concern will be the citizens of District 3, but at the end of the day, we're all one community, and I will work for what's best for Sylacauga. It's time we did away with the us versus them mentality or the city versus the citizens. I will talk with you before taking action when all possible. Our job as members of the Sylacauga City Council is to set policy, adopt and pass a budget, be at least balanced or with a surplus, and then spend the taxpayers' money wisely. We cannot continue to go in debt to pay for everything we have. We should see that every district is taken care of. This would include street paving, maintenance, and more. We need to quit spending your money, at least over $100,000 over the last 4 years, on studying what to do with city property. While meeting the great citizens of District 3 on the campaign trail, I have heard about the need for a storm shelter for our city. The people want our swimming pool back. We need to relook traffic signals downtown for safety. Twice a week garbage pickup that we are already paying for, and for recycling to continue. It's time for a change on the Sylacauga City Council. The same old has got to go. At the end of the day, ask yourself, are you really better off than you were 4 years ago? If you think not, I'm ready to go to work for and with you to represent District 3 on the Sylacauga City Council. Vote and support Nate Brewer on August the 25th. God bless you, and God bless the greatest city, Sylacauga, Alabama. Thank you.
Our third candidate for Sylacauga City Council District 3 is Mr. DeCorey Hale.
Good evening. My name is DeCorey Hale, and I'm running for Sylacauga City Council here in District 3. A couple things about me. Born and raised here in Sylacauga. Graduated from Sylacauga High School, class of 2000. After school, went to college, Alabama State University, where I majored in marketing. After college, came back, got a job with Alabama Power, and I've been there 13 years. One of the big things about my job and the benefit of it is the flexibility to do something that I really love, and that is childhood literacy. So I'm also a children's author, having published 2 books and working on a 3rd now. In addition to being a children's author, and according to the flyer that everybody in District 3 has, I'm also a magazine and Huffington Post writer. I co-founded Friends of Safe Initiative, providing 50 to 100 meals during Christmas for the past 5 years. I'm on the Sylacauga Tree Commission Board, Nichols Lawson Middle School Community Mentor, Safe Parents as Teachers Advisor Board, Central Alabama Writers Guild Alliance. I'm a member of Isabel Comer Museum, a member of Sylacauga Habitat for Humanity, and Sylacauga Young Professionals. Now, for those of you that don't know me or have met me on the campaign trail, you'll look at this flyer and you'll say, wow, yeah, he does a lot. He has a lot going on. He really does care about the community. He cares about Sylacauga. And that's true. But to those that really know me will know exactly why I'm doing this. And that's because this sheet of paper does not define me. What I am is I'm boots on the ground. I've always been boots on the ground. I go for the accomplishments, not the accolades. I'd rather do the work and let everybody else talk about it. That's me. For me, I get more satisfaction out of getting a call saying, thank you for helping me, or somebody told me to call you for the help. That's what I'm about, boots on the ground, fresh ideas. So I ask that you would allow me to continue to turn my words into action, and now continue to turn your words into action as your next City Council representative. Thank you.
At this time, there's opportunity for the District 2 candidates that would like to rebut. We can do that at this time. So if one of the 3 or all 3 would like to speak, you can come at this time.
Yep, here it comes. Some of you'd like to see me. Here you go. All right, I'm going to go all the way back to the swimming pool. Anytime you improve something, don't you want to do it better? Well, we can do that better in a different location from where it's at. Those that thinks that we're going to have a splash pad with some concrete and some pipe sticking out of it is not true. We're going to wind up with 2 things for our citizens, for our children, for our grandchildren, and for our adults. We're going to wind up, Lord being our helper, with a splash pad in a place that's more suited for a splash pad. And we're going to wind up with a swimming pool. And I'm shooting for an indoor swimming pool that can be used the year round. But we're going to need to put that in a place that's more suitable for a swimming pool. So we're going to do that. I'm making you that promise now. Another thing about the dilapidated houses, there's in the making now, and this don't happen overnight. Okay, but anyway, those houses are coming down. Should start this coming up month. God bless y'all.
I'm not going to spend a lot of time. Number 1, where's the money coming from? That's number 1, because we're already millions of dollars in debt. Number 2, the swimming pool services everyone. The splash pad services from kids 4 to 11 years old. It was already proven that we could get a swimming pool, but we chose to go a different direction. Guys, do your research, because I have done mine. I have been going to every council meeting since December. It is time we stood up and done what was right. Does everybody understand me? We cannot keep borrowing money and not being able to pay it back. We are spending your money, okay? The swimming pool has to be first, then build your splash pad. And by the way, look up a splash pad. It's concrete with holes in it, little obstacles with water coming out. That's what a splash pad is. Thank you.
All right. we are now going to move to Sylacauga City Council District 4. And again, we are going in alphabetical order. First up, John Hall.
Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Jonathan Hall. Most of you know me as John Hall. I'm running for District 4 City Council. I've been in Sylacauga about 15 years now, and I'll tell you what, it's gone by so fast I don't even know what tomorrow is. When I was looking to relocate, I met a man who truly loved the city, Joe Duck. We became friends immediately. His love for Sylacauga is and was infectious. So here I am. Most of my working career was outdoors. Telephone company, United States Navy, fire department, just to name a couple. I have 3 daughters, 7 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren. At this time, I live in a big house all alone, and I don't even have a dog. Sylacauga has wrapped its welcoming arms around me, and I'm home. I've made a list of what I call I'd like to sees. You'll bear with me. Here's a list of them. I'd like to see more frequent trash pickup, the goal being twice a week. I'd like to see paving projects continue on the bigger streets and also the side streets, which are very important. I'd like to see a swimming pool complex that can be used by a variety of people, young and old, for a variety of reasons, rehabilitation, exercise, and competition. I'd like to see places for adults to gather, places for young adults and teens to gather. Examples: athletic fields, parks, recreational areas. I'd like to see people walking up and down the sidewalks of Broadway and Norton and whatever else we have in the city where they can walk, window shop, they can fellowship, just see our beautiful streets and how good they really are. This is a very unique town. I'd like to see a variety of events for entertainment, kind of like grab your blanket and your lawn chair, listen to some local musicians or storytellers. There's a lot of grassy parks out there and there's places to go. I'd like to see a think tank enterprise or think tank enterprises come in here that will entice our children to return home to Sylacauga after they complete their higher education. Of course, there are many more things I'd like to see. I'd like to see for Sylacauga. Where did it go? Time out. I lost my page. There it is. Sylacauga has a special attitude. Not everyone will agree on every issue, but if we all strive to work together, unified, my favorite song is What a Wonderful World. Well, this song parallels to what a wonderful city Sylacauga can be. I have great visions for Sylacauga, but I need your help, and I'm asking for your vote. To implement these visions, I have a plan that includes a Citizens Action Task Force, Employee Action Task Force, and these are described in my campaign page with a sign for @John Hall, number 4, Sylacauga. I thank you very much. God bless.
All right, next up in District 4, incumbent Lee Perriman.
Good evening. I'm one of 5 equal partners on the City Council. My roots in the area date back to 1838. My father was hospital administrator. My mother was a Sylacauga High School teacher for more than 30 years. I have a cemetery plot in Evergreen Cemetery. I don't plan to use it anytime soon, but I'm here longer than forever, and I'm not finished yet, and I would appreciate support for serving one more term. We have no unlimited bank accounts and no magic wands. As a team, we have taken advantage of every opportunity to promote growth, business, industry, retail, and commercial development, jobs, education, health, safety, and recreation. The meaningful progress is measurable and real. On Tuesday, a candidate running for city council in a neighboring community called me for help. He said people in his city are seriously jealous of Sylacauga and our momentum. He said they want to be more like Sylacauga. How do you all do that, he asked. My answer was very simple: big picture focused, teamwork, planning, and respect. We've actively managed Sylacauga like a business because it is, and the citizens of Sylacauga are our stockholders. We planned and prioritized, refinance debt at more favorable interest rates, and pursued a variety of projects through which the city has been allocated millions of dollars in free grant funding. Our city is in great financial shape, better than ever. Just last month, we received an A+ credit rating from Standard & Poor's. Not every city can say that. I suppose people will always second guess us, but as the Rolling Stones famously sung, you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you'll get what you need. Early on, people complained about our move from 2-day-a-week trash pickup to 1. The fact was that not everyone filled both trash cans both days each week. It didn't make sense for the city to overpay for services that were not being fully used by a majority of homes. Second receptacles are available for a small fee. The money we saved quickly helped us kickstart repaving most city streets and roads. Lately, people have complained about the pool. Parks and Rec has invested significant resources trying to repair that pool. Previously, hidden structural damage is quite severe, explaining expensive water leaks and presenting serious long-term safety risks. Walls could collapse at any time, which consulting engineers blame on poor original construction. We're out of time and money for Band-Aids. Permanent repairs could cost between $1 and $2 million. Like it or not, the math and the location don't work. The council accepted very thoughtful recommendations to convert the site to a splash pad. To be very clear, that's not just slabs of concrete and water hoses, which some people have incorrectly imagined. Asheville, Birmingham, Cullman, Decatur, Gardendale, Leeds, Moody, Oak Mountain, Pell City, Prattville, Springville, Trustville, and Tuscaloosa, they all have splash pads. They can be used year-round. Intentions are to construct a new and much larger facility, including, for example, indoor pools and basketball courts, and options are being reviewed. Simply put, fulfilling needs is part of good planning, not about inefficiently reacting to random events. There's more work to be done. We have momentum. The limited power I have comes through the people who vote for me, and I am grateful. Early in my career, I received advice, important advice from 2 mentors. Leadership is action, not position. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Thank you.
The last candidate for Sylacauga City Council District 4, Jada Thomas Combs.
When I decided to run for a seat on the Sylacauga City Council, it wasn't because I craved the power and the glory of being a councilman. It was because I was genuinely concerned with the direction I saw the city going. I had numerous discussions and prayers about it, and I decided I needed to be more involved in the process rather than just talking about it. This is not a decision I made lightly. I talked with a lot of people, and I'm gratified that I have significant support. Our city government should focus on 4 main priorities: public safety, infrastructure, and delivery of necessary services, and promoting an environment that attracts and retains businesses. We seem to go from issue to issue. There's no plan, no direction, little communication. Sylacauga deserves better. This is an election year, and the focus nationally is on politics. It's Republicans versus Democrats. That's fine. There are clear differences between the two on the national and state level. I'm not going to argue anyone's political points at this time. What I will argue right now is this: party labels and stereotypes aren't at the local level. If you follow the city council, you'll see that I'm right. When your roads need to be fixed, or your house is burning, or you're suspicious of the drinking water coming out of your tap, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican. You just want the problem fixed. I want to ensure you that your voice is heard. Sylacaugians' needs should be addressed. Party lines shouldn't divide people. We need unity, not division. Unfortunately, for a few people on both sides of the aisles, this is a game, and seeing your team win is all that matters. For the vast majority of us, this isn't a game. These are our neighborhoods, our streets, our cities, our lives. Anyone who knows me will tell you that I don't make promises I can't keep. As a councilwoman, I promise I'll listen to and consider ideas from both sides of the aisles, pick the best people for the jobs that need to be done without regard to their voting records, harness everyone's creativity and energy to make the city safer, provide services more effectively, and capitalize on Sylacauga's unique position as an economic hub and strengthen their entire region. This campaign isn't about asking people to cross party lines. This is about giving them the opportunity to ignore party lines. This is about believing that most people know deep down that the tired old political showdown is not the way to solve the problems facing Sylacauga. It's about electing the representation that clearly defines priorities, and come work together with others to make them happen. It's about taking the focus off politics and putting it on effective government. This campaign is about offering Sylacaugaans something they've wanted for a long time, a new way forward, another choice that just makes sense, and the absolute confidence that their elected leaders will make decisions based solely on what's best for Sylacauga. I'm proud to announce I'm a candidate for District 4 City Council of Sylacauga. Thank you.
You've now heard from all three of the candidates for District 4. Do we have any candidates that would like to rebut? Mr. Abrams.
This brings us to our final Sylacauga City Council candidates, and we move to District 5, and we begin with the incumbent, Mr. Dallas Davenport.
Well, when this council administration run 4 years ago applying for this office, the main thing that we run on was paving streets. Our streets was horrible. And we got the most of them paved, the worst of them. We're still working on some. You know, some people on the outside looking in say they're going to do this and they're going to do that. But you don't have a clue. This is running a city is not like any business you've ever had. Until you've been able to do it, then you can say what you'll do and what you can't do. You know, I heard a lot of complaints about the city being nasty, clean. The city's not nasty. Every city in the United States, has low income houses, and houses look bad. Our code department has been doing a very good job. You know, you just can't go out to a house and say, well, if you don't pull that car out of the yard, you do this, and if you don't fix your house up, I'm going to tear it down. This is the United States, folks. We have to go through a process, a legal process. The code department's got 20 subpoenas, citations to serve now. But they can't because the courts is closed down. They're working on it. They're doing good. You have to. All right, they talk about the pool. You know, if you have the pool was built in the early 80s. If you have an old car and every year you're just sinking money in, you're going to try to buy you a new pool, a new car. We want a civic center, or whatever you want to call it, for the people of Sylacauga. Talladega has got a fantastic one. It's run right. It's clean. We deserve it. We can have a pool in it. We can have an indoor basketball court, meetings room. We deserve it. We're not closing it down, folks. Just give us a little time. We built a splash pad, and we're working. We're talking to engineers and architects on building that one. You just don't snap your finger. We've got to get bonds on it. We are going to do it. We're not leaving people out of a swimming pool, but you just can't do it all that quick. They talk about this grass and stuff. The street department has a lot of roads and a lot of things to take care of, and they're doing a good job. They've lost inmates because of the virus. They can't get those inmates. They helped a lot. They've done a lot of weed eating. We've got over 50 acres to cut at the airport. All these roads and highways they've got to cut. And that's not the only thing the street department has to do, y'all. They have a lot of other things to do. Thank you.
Our next candidate for Sylacauga City Council District 5, Mrs. Laura Barlow Heath.
Good evening. I would like to thank each and every one of you for coming out tonight. Thank you, Kim Brewer and the local media, for hosting this event. Thank you to those who have offered a word of encouragement, advice, prayer, and support during my campaign. Allow me to reintroduce myself. I am Laura Barlow Heath. I'm seeking office in the City of Sylacauga Council for District 5. 3 minutes is not long enough to explain who I am, so please find me on social media, find me afterwards. I'll give you a card with my information. I have worked in clinical informatics as a physician, resource trainer, and liaison in numerous facilities all over the country. I currently serve as the president of Auxiliary for Sylacauga Little League Baseball. I also serve as vice president of Pinecrest PTO. I am an alumni of Faulkner University. I'm not a politician. I'm just a citizen who has a heart to serve and lead. My family is from Sylacauga. I'm fourth generation to settle here. You know, by voting for me, you'll be voting for someone who is compassionate and loyal to preserving the great history and legacy of what has made the city wonderful. On August 25th, I ask for your vote. Thank you.
Our final candidate for Sylacauga City Council District 5 is Mr. John Wesson.
Thank you, Jimmy Dale. You know, I look out across this room and I see so many people that I know, that I work with, that I've volunteered with, that I've gone to church with over the many years. You know, most people know who I am. They know what I'm about. So I'm not going to waste your time going down my list. You know, with all the candidates up here tonight, I think we have 21. And I thought about that a few weeks ago, and I'm like, you know, you got 21 candidates, and with everything you see on the TV every evening on the news, that's really a referendum of what's going on in this country. That's mainly one reason I'm running. You know, you see all the lawlessness, the cancel culture stuff, and I'm just sickened by it every time I see it on the news. You know, that's, like I said, it's a referendum on what's going on in the country. And I hope that it never happens here in Sylacauga. And I'm going to do everything that I can to prevent that from happening. But let me point out 3 things that I think are important. You know, it's been very entertaining watching everything up here tonight. And we've all talked about a pool. We've talked about a splash pad and everything we want to have. But how are we going to fund it? You know, we don't have the money just to spend everywhere on everything that we need. But let me point out a few things. Number one, we've got to back up our police officers because they're under attack right now. And we've got to be behind them, okay? And everything that they do, we got to fund them. But most importantly, we just got to know that we're there for them. You know, they just want a pat on the back and tell them everything's going to be okay. You know, sometimes that's all anybody needs, just a small word of encouragement. But one of the things I've noticed, too, in this campaign is, number one, you find out where everybody lives because you knock on their door. And number 2, you find out how many people you really know or that know you. But one big thing that we have going on for us in this town that you don't really realize is our people. We've got a lot of smart, talented, bright individuals in this town. I met the police chief, not police chief, the fire chief a few weeks ago. This guy's a sharp guy. I encourage you to go by and talk to him. His name's Nate Osgood. He's only been with us a short time, but I just hope we can hold on to him. He's a fantastic young man. So we got a lot of great people, and that's what we've got to do. We've got to coalesce. We've got to come together to solve our problems, to move this city forward. We've got to seek out other entities like our governor, our state representatives. And folks, I think one big thing we can do economically is we can't do this, firsthand, but we can kind of be in the background. We got to get that bridge put in down at the Coosa River. That can be an economic driver for this community. And I'm asking for your vote on August 25th. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Time now for any of the candidates in District 5. If you have something that you would like to rebut, you can do that this time. You have 1 minute. Let's give all our candidates a hand clap for our city council positions.
And now we move to our candidate seeking the office of mayor of Sylacauga. I think we mentioned this earlier, but we want to mention it again. All the mayoral candidates will get 5 minutes to speak. First up, Baxter Bozeman.
I'm going to break from the norm a little bit and actually keep my mask on because I promised my wife I would. Don't want to go home to that because she's definitely going to be watching. Hello, my name is Bax Bozeman, and I am thrilled and terribly nervous to be here. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to talk to you today. I'd like to give you a little bit of background on myself for those of you who don't know me. I spent the vast majority of my life in and around Sylacauga. I was raised here, went all the way through the Sylacauga school system. Art class was actually the last one in East Highland and the first in Nichols Lawson, so it was thrilling to actually be a little bit a part of history here. After graduating high school, I went to Marion Military Institute and completed the ROTC Leadership Training course. This training has proved to be invaluable information that helped me succeed in all my professional ventures so far. After leaving the Alabama National Guard, I spent the next decade in hospitality, food service, construction, and other customer service-related positions. A jack of all trades, but a master of none is often more useful than a master of one. I feel that this saying describes me well, as I am constantly in search of new information and skills that can make me more productive. Up till now, I've tirelessly worked to ensure the livelihood of my family, but now I'm asking you to allow me to work for you as well. I, of course, have suggestions on the issues that most of us in town find important, but the one that I wish to focus on today is the most important to me, and essentially nullifies the importance of my personal opinion on the rest of the issues. My dream is to use Sylacauga as a pilot program to show that we can move our democracy into the 21st century with an opinions collection polling website. This will increase citizen engagement and the accuracy with which we can glean public opinion. Our job as representatives, after all, is simply to do the bidding of the people, nothing more, nothing less. As someone with public speaking and general anxiety, as I'm sure is apparent by now, this campaign puts me completely out of my comfort zone, but I believe that if you want something done right, you've got to do it yourself, which is why I've been collaborating with individuals and organizations from all over the country to formulate the design of this website, with a huge shout out to Mr. Jeremiah Barth for donating so much time and effort into the coding of the site, as well as helping design the means by which to structure our Normalize Independence campaign. The goal of both the website and the campaign is to start the delegitimization process of the corrupt and ineffective two-party system that our founders urged us not to adopt upon the inception of this great country. They warned that if we did, we would inevitably experience the same stagnation and corruption that we fled from in England. But we did it anyway, because it was just easier to trust that your party had your best interest in mind. But we see now that it has only been two sides of the same self-serving coin. Our technological deficiencies at the time limited the ability to communicate and share information widely. But we can do now what the founders never thought possible. We are actually capable of massive citizen involvement, something close to true democracy. When people have control over the affairs that affect them, not only will they be more willing to participate, but we can actually get popular things done quickly. I'm a firm believer in what our founders wished to build, a government of the people, by the people, and most importantly, for the people. That in mind, public works such as parks, recreation areas, roadways, schools, etc. are what I wish to prioritize. Our city is beautiful and has an incredible history, but over the years, some maintenance issues and cares caused a decline in our appearance. And I understand that we are working on that, and I want to not throw any shade on anybody that's been in the incumbent. But I wish to make Sylacauga as beautiful and vibrantly alive as I know it can be. Our locally owned small businesses are the life of our city, and I want to work with the business owners and entrepreneurs to vitalize our local economy and to create opportunities for people so that they don't feel the need to leave in order to be successful. If we invest in our future properly, we can rest easy knowing we've done all we can for our children. The people, in my opinion, know what we need for our communities. The question then is, what is the best way to glean that opinion massively from the public? This is why I feel that my website suggestion and the general way that I approach and handle problems gives me a legitimate running platform. I'm not trying to buy your vote or participate in the yard sign game. Those that vote for me believe that I will do everything I can to help our city. Again, I want to say thank you for giving me this platform and opportunity to speak and advertise for our Normalized Independence campaign. It's about much more than just this election. It's much more than a vanity run. These efforts to change our system for good will not cease if I am not elected, because this race wasn't being run just to win. It's an honest attempt to reform and fix the broken parts of our system. The importance is on the message that only you are the change, you are the purpose, you are the voice, and you are the power. People shouldn't fear their government. Government should be afraid of their people. Allow your government to work for you. Normalize independence with me. Vote Bax Bozeman, Mayor 2020. Thank you.
Our next candidate for Mayor of Sylacauga, Joseph Hamilton.
Good evening, Sylacauga. My name is Joseph Hamilton. I'm the candidate for mayor of Sylacauga. My goal for Sylacauga is to fix the streets, bring more jobs in, and bring activities for the children where they can have some fun activities, because Sylacauga don't have it like it should. I want to bring a theme park in for not just the children, but the grown-ups too, where everybody can have something fun and enjoy their hometown. I want to bring the revenue back to build up Sylacauga to keep the mom and pop business going too when we have other stores coming in. And together, if we work together, we can do that. So I'm asking that you vote for me as your mayor of Sylacauga, August 25th. Thank you.
Our next candidate for mayor is incumbent Jim Heigl.
Thank you, Bruce, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me thank you for the past 4 years that you have given me to allow me to serve you and the city of Sylacauga. People have asked me, said, Jim, why in the world you want to run again? I love my town. I love this people. We've got a lot to do. We accomplish a lot. It sure ain't for the money. I give that away throughout the year. We got a lot of worthwhile organizations that need that money more than I do. But we got executive branch of your city government. There's over the 7 departments in the city. I want our departments to be able to have the best of everything before they can serve you. Those are the people that serve you. The legislative part, there's your councilmen, we have to go to them for the money. We're on a budget now for the 2021 budget. This will be my 4th budget. All 4 budgets were level funded, and every budget had excess monies. And I'm looking forward to this one to be the same thing. I'm not going to sit here and tell you all what this administration's accomplished over the years. You know it all. The paving's already been mentioned, all the infrastructure, all our buildings, and all that's been fixed up. We did get some good news. The airport, we got over $3 million worth of paving out there. And FAA has informed us last week that they're going to pay 100% of the lighting out there. So that's a good savings for the city, so we won't have to match that. But everything we've done through this city is not just executive and legislative. It's executive and legislative working together to accomplish the goals. But one of the things I want to tell you about, when I came in office in 2017, I got with a couple of community leaders. I learned this from Sam Wright when I served as president of the city council, and Sam was the mayor. We visited industries in our area. I came into office, I sponsored a quarterly breakfast with the industries in our area. I wanted to find out, I learned a little bit under Sam, but find out what their issues were. Labor, skilled labor was an issue. Got with Sam, I got with Dr. John Seegers, we got with other people there. What can we do? Workforce development. We got these CEOs and the managers and the plant managers. We brought them to the schools and saw what the kids were learning. They were telling us what they needed out there in their industries. It came in there. We were able to get the community college involved, East Alabama, and our own Laura Strickland. She was a big help with the Chamber of Commerce. What we got was about 20% of our high school kids do not go to college. That's an approximate number. These kids here, these are the ones we want to get into the workforce development, get them into the trade schools, get them come here and work in our industries and our jobs here in Sylacauga and in the community. They come here, they marry here, they raise their families here. It makes our city grow. The college kids, they'll go out. Some will come back, but most of them probably just leave and go to other areas. But we do want to capitalize on those students. Like I said, all this is, let me tell you one more thing this afternoon. I got to tell you about this one. I just signed a paper from ADECA. As you know, ADECA is the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Development. $250,000 we have got to demolition and destroy, take down old structures throughout the city. We have approximately 66 structures in this city that we'll be able to take down with this grant. The grant is now on the city clerk's office desk. She'll sign that in the morning. We'll send it on off. So that's money. We're going to get rid of some of these old structures. We have presented a plan to the city council to go ahead and try to bring some help to our city streets. You complain about the nastiness, the weeds, and all this stuff. Yes, it is. It's a headache. We've been fighting it all year. But thank goodness, thanks to Doug Camp, he's our nuisance abatement officer. He's done a wonderful job. He's part-time. Doesn't put about 30 hours a week in because he's already retired and coming back in. But we're getting things cleaned up. But what we're doing with this, we want to contract, put out bids to help green spaces and horticultural areas throughout our city to help clean it up. It'd be a lot cheaper if we can go ahead and contract these. We got several people, you've seen them before, with their lawnmowers and tractors and everything else. They're out there. We need to go ahead and contract them in the city. It's a lot cheaper in the city trying to get the street department to hire 5 or 6 people plus the equipment and not counting the liability. Thank you very much.
There are 6 candidates seeking the office of mayor of the city of Sylacauga. Next is Mr. Michael James.
Hi, I'm Michael James. I'm running for mayor of Sylacauga. I've sat over there and listened to everything. And a lot of you know me, you know the things I've said, you know what I stand for. There are problems in this city, problems that are not addressed over here. I don't think anybody on city council or the mayor came into office wanting to tear down Sylacauga. But you know what? Apathy and laziness will do that very thing. If you look around, talking about the roads being paved, if you go to some of the lower income houses, go up north, go over here to the east, it's a horrible problem. It's a horrible problem in front of my house. There is a drug problem here. There is a meth problem here. A bad meth problem. You know what drugs are in the Bible? It's witchcraft. You better clean the crap up out of this city. I can do it. I'm a leader. I'm not a jerk. I'm not a dictator. I know how to get things done and work with people. I'll have a city council that will control things I say and do, what I can and can't do. But I'm a leader. I know how to work with people and get things done and not come to a city council meeting every week with the same thing. Same thing. Oh, did we pass this? Have we passed this? Hadn't we done this? Have we done that? Nobody's in charge. It's like there's nobody in charge. But I promise you, there is a problem here. It's why 150 of you are here and we have 11,000 citizens, 12,000 citizens in Sylacauga. You know why? They're tired of hearing the same old garbage. That's why they're not here. I know they're on TV, but they're tired of hearing the same old garbage. I'm not saying any of these men are evil, but I'm saying there is a total lack of leadership in this city. And you have drug problem, you better get it cleaned up. That's why we lost 1,000 people in the last year? We lost more people than anybody in the state of Alabama. Why? Why can we not bring a manufacturer or other businesses here? I know your little things that come in on their own, that you didn't go out and sales pitch and get them in here. Somebody needs to be out there writing grants and be out there talking to corporations, manufacturers, and getting them in here. Not just sitting waiting on them to come to us. That's how you produce revenues. That's how you keep from going in debt. That's how you have enough money to have a decent pool and entertainment for your kids, so your kids aren't sitting around in the parking lot over here at Dirt Cheap and some of these other places, okay? Again, I'm a leader, and I can take care of these things. I can take care of these things with the chief of police, the fire chief, with the city council. But there is a total vacuum in this city. You know it, and I know it. And that's not to say it has nothing to do with the people, but it's a total vacuum, and all you hear is excuses. How many excuses did you hear up here tonight? Well, we're going to do this. Well, this is coming. This is about to happen. Da-da-da. That's crap, and I'm tired of it. I'm Michael James, and I appreciate your vote on August 25th.
Next candidate for Mayor of the City of Sylacauga is Mr. Rick Morris.
Thank you, everyone. I want to thank Jimmy Dale and Ken and Bruce for putting this on tonight. I think it's very important that we get together and discuss the issues of Sylacauga. I was born and raised here. I graduated high school in 1974. I married Trudy Knight Morris. I was born right up here in the hospital. I left here because there wasn't a whole lot for me here, job-wise. I left here, and after I graduated high school, and I went off and I wound up in Atlanta, Georgia, where I lived for over 30 years. I opened a bit. I was with a corporation for 18 years. I left them and opened up a company. My business partner and I had a vision, and after 10 years, we had over 100 employees. So I know how to run a business. Sylacauga just has always been dear to my heart. I grew up here. Like I said, the people of Sylacauga, my teachers, my coaches, had a great influence on my life. They made me who I am today. Like I said, I had a business in Atlanta, sold it, and moved back here about 7 or 8 years ago. My mom still lives here. She lives with me. I just feel like I have something to offer Sylacauga. Sylacauga seems to be at a standstill right now. What we've done out on 280, this current administration has done a great job. I have nothing against anybody, but Sylacauga seems to be at a standstill right now. After running the business in Atlanta for over 25 years, with my knowledge of running the business, understanding P&Ls, income statements, and all that kind of stuff that you have to know to run a business, I certainly feel like I'm more than qualified to be mayor of Sylacauga. So I've heard everybody talking tonight about what needs to be done, what we're going to do, and all that. The question is, how are we going to do it? You've got, everybody that asked me about this swimming pool. To me, we need to repair the one we got. We don't need to go out and borrow $10 million to build a new one. I think we need to repair this one, and it needs to be for everybody. A splash pad's only for small kids. A swimming pool, you can have a swim team. You can do water aerobics for senior citizens. It's just I'm not all about borrowing money. I mean, I've done that. I mean, I understand sometimes you have to step out of the box and borrow money and that kind of thing. But Sylacauga's been good to me. I feel like I have a lot to offer. Sylacauga just seems to be at a standstill right now. And I feel like that with my knowledge of running the business for 25 years, I think running the city of Sylacauga I think we have less than $20 million coming in, and I certainly feel like I could do the budget to make sure that the money's going to the right place. It just seems, like I said, Sylacauga seems to be at a standstill. We just need to keep it moving forward. And, there's a lot of good people up here, everybody's got the same vision for Sylacauga. Everybody wants Sylacauga to be good for our kids and our grandkids. And there's a lot of important decisions that need to be made. And it's just needs to be thought out. Money needs to be spent wisely, needs to be talked about. And on August 25th, I'd appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Our final candidate for the office of mayor, the city of Sylacauga, is Mr. Jamie Lee Powell.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out here tonight. And first off, I'd like to thank all you veterans. I'd like to thank all you policemen. I'd like to thank all you firefighters. I'd like to thank all you factory workers, all you cashiers, all you healthcare workers. And I'd like to thank all you good folks of Sylacauga. I'd like to thank all those who have served, all those that are serving, and all of those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice so I may stand here before you today. Sylacauga, we got a choice to make. And I can guarantee you that I'm the only candidate here running for mayor that's going to bring you the type of change that you want. I'm the only candidate here that's going to get things done and get things done fast. Sylacauga, we got a choice. We got Slow-Mo Higgle, we got Hang 'em High James, and we got $1 Million Rick. Now Sylacauga, I got the experience and the know-how to get the job done. I have served as a firefighter. I've worked with the Sheriff's Department. I have worked with the Utility Department. I have worked with every single city department that I will be heading as mayor. Now, I work for a government consultant firm called CGI, and I was a healthcare agent. The type of numbers that I handled made Rick's $100 million business look like a roadside peanut stand. I got the experience to get the job done, and I will get it done. Sylacauga, I'd appreciate it if you would walk tall on August the 25th and vote Jamie Powell for mayor. God bless Sylacauga, and God bless the USA.
At this time, if any of the mayoral candidates would like to rebut, you have 1 minute from the time you start. At this time, we will move to the question and answer segment. These questions have been provided by the audience. Candidates will come to your seat. We'll come to your seat, candidates, to ask your question, and you'll have 1 minute to answer. If you need more time, we ask that you respond to the individual asking the question after the program. Before we do that, let's give our mayoral candidates a hand tonight.
All right. This question is for all candidates. The question comes from Sandra Epperson. The question is, can anyone cite the numbers for COVID-19 in Talladega County, Sylacauga, or Coosa Valley Medical Center, ICU capacity as of today or yesterday? What is your plan to deal with surge capacity in Sylacauga now that Alabama has reached 15 to 20% capacity of ICU beds? You can understand it? Okay. Candidates said they couldn't understand it, so I'll try to speak louder. Okay, thank you. Can anyone cite the numbers for COVID-19 in Talladega County, Sylacauga, or Coosa Valley Medical Center, ICU capacity as of today or yesterday? What is your plans to deal with surge capacity in Sylacauga now that Alabama has reached 15 to 20% capacity of ICU beds? And that's anybody that wants to answer that question. You have 1 minute.
Thank you. And I'll say this. I don't know the numbers. What I can tell you is, though, that I'm intimately aware of the hazards of the COVID virus because it impacted Pam and I. Pam had the COVID virus, and I know that it's a serious virus. It has an immediate impact on the health of Sylacauga, but also on the economic health, too, because sales tax revenues are going to be down, notwithstanding what this crowd might tell you over here. The sales tax revenues are going to be down. And so COVID has more of an impact than just economic and health.
All right. I'll bring the microphone to you.
I do not know the numbers, but this I do know. You can't count all the people that have recovered from COVID. COVID speaks to the greater need that we have to take better care of ourselves and our health. We need healthier food choices in Sylacauga, and we need better education about how to take care of ourselves in Sylacauga. That's not knocking nobody. That's just the truth.
Jimmy Dale, anybody over there?
Hey, I will say this about COVID. I watch the national numbers on it every night. I do not know the local numbers. I will say this about COVID. I know it is extremely important for our elderly community to be aware of it. Okay, that's number one. We have to protect our elderly and our assisted living facilities with the COVID. If there is a shortage of equipment like ventilators, we need to work with our state legislators and our governor's office to make sure we have the proper equipment here in Sylacauga to deal with the numbers. But and let me say this too: for the younger population, for my age group and lower, I don't think it's that big of a deal if you don't have any pre-existing health conditions. I knew some friends that I know that had it. They didn't take any prescription medicine to get rid of it. They were just quarantined and they took vitamin C, and after 10 or so days, they were over it. So, but it's important to quarantine people that do have it. I will say that.
Anyone else want to speak to this?
I hadn't actually heard today, but yesterday there was 8 confirmed at Coosa Valley Medical Center and 3 under investigation. And one thing, and it is a big deal. It's a very big deal. It's our place to try to protect not only ourselves but others that we come in contact with. But I can tell you, we are blessed here in Sylacauga. We have got a lower rate than some. Now, I don't want anybody to have any, but thank God for Coosa Valley Medical Center and our staff there that helps our citizens and helps protect them and others that comes into there. God bless each of you. Protect yourself, and as you're protecting yourself, you're protecting others also. Thank you.
I'd like to reiterate on that point and say actually a quote from Dr. Fossey on the matter, that if we overreact to this, then at the end of it we can kind of laugh and say, oh, well, we look kind of silly in the masks. But if the opposite is true and we don't act accordingly, then can we actually laugh at the end of it? That's the question. And actually to rebut on the point of the younger generation being more able to cope with it, yes, that may be true. They're still working on it, and of course everybody depends on your personal situation. But my major issue is, are we going to just quarantine off the entire community that has a risk for this? Are we just going to not see our grandparents, not see our parents anymore because I'm not as high of a risk? But I'm not going to rely on that. I'm just going to take precautions and make sure that I'm doing everything I can to not infect others. Thank you.
This question is for Mayor Heigl from Clara Curtis. Mayor Heigl, the question from Mrs. Curtis is, why are we discontinuing recycling, and what did the city do to inspire citizens to participate?
Well, first of all, Mr. Curtis, I don't know that we quit recycling. They're still picking mine up the first and third Wednesday of every month. Now, I don't know, there's no change in the contract. People say, well, they put it in the garbage trucks, but these garbage trucks are emptied. They're not going out to have a special truck to pick up recycle. They clean them out and they come by and pick up the recycle every other Wednesday, whether it's the first or third Wednesday in my neighborhood or the third and fourth Wednesday in other neighborhoods. What they do with this recycle, I don't know. Hopefully that China has backed off on it. I know it's an issue, but that is something we got a contract with the people who take care of our garbage and our recycle. We'll have to visit them.
All right, this question is for Rick Morris and Dallas Davenport. It's from Dawn Stevens. How will you generate more revenue to better fund the animal shelter, or is that a priority of yours if elected? Rick, I guess I'll let you go first.
Okay, I didn't address this with my speech up there, but I'm not planning on taking a salary, a mayor's salary, if elected. I'm going to donate that money back to the city, and part of the money will go to the animal shelter. And it'll also go to different organizations around town, Save, the ARC, anybody that needs it. Somebody can't pay their light bill, they can go to our website. We'll set up a website and apply for that money, and we'll review it. And if they need some help, we'll get it to them.
All right, Dallas. The question again, how will you generate more revenue to better fund the animal shelter, or is that a priority of yours if reelected?
Oh, yes, sir. Well, we got to get more businesses in here. That's to get revenue, not raise taxes, but we're getting to the animal shelter. Animal shelter is very important, and we're working on it. It's just going to take time. The revenue is coming in slow. The city is in good shape. It takes money. You have to borrow money to operate and get bonds, but we're doing good.
All right. Jimmy Dale?
Next question is for John Wesson. And the question is from Gene Johnson. Mr. Wesson, you have said that our parks and rec need improving. With you being on the Park and Rec Board, do you not feel somewhat responsible for not bringing tasks the director and board to improve our parks and pool and not let them get in such disrepair?
Thank you. Let me say this about the Parks and Rec Board. First of all, we have an unbelievable director, Mr. Jim Armstrong. We have an unbelievable sports director, Steve Masters. I've known these two guys a long time. They do a great job. Goes back to what I was talking about earlier. We have a lot of great people here that are very talented, and we have to lean on them, okay? We have to get everybody's opinion. Second thing about the Parks and Rec Board, I don't get paid. It is an appointed position, and it's strictly volunteer. All it is a think tank. Gentleman over here mentioned think tanks. We have think tanks. There's a lot of boards that are appointed, and all they do is think about issues. The only thing we can do as a Parks and Rec Board is recommend things to the City Council and the Mayor. They're the ultimate decision maker on those issues. Okay? So I've given my opinion about the pool, about Parks and Rec, but we have to figure out what the ultimate end game is for the Parks and Rec. We just can't blow with the wind and do what's popular. We have to do what's right for everybody. Okay? Thank you.
All right. I believe this, Jimmy Dale, you have any other questions? Is this the last one?
Pardon?
Do you have any other questions?
Yes.
Okay. All right. This question is for all the candidates of District 5. I will turn around so you guys can hear me. It is from Kenneth Robinson. The question is, why haven't any one of the candidates been in my neighborhood campaigning? I have talked to Dallas, but not the other two. Does my vote not count? Thank you.
I'm Laura Heath, and I'm still making rounds. I have not made it to every neighborhood, but I guarantee you that I will make it to your neighborhood and knock on your door and personally ask you for your vote. Thank you.
Dallas, do you want to?
Well, one thing, I don't think people want this COVID virus is serious. I don't believe everybody wants strangers that they don't know coming to the door. We can reach the people other ways. We live in, well, dangerous but not good times. We just don't need to do that this time. I wouldn't want somebody that I didn't know come in my house and talk to him. We have to be careful. We can reach the people in other ways.
Well, I really believe in going door to door and meeting everybody and letting them know that, who I am and what I'm running for and what I stand for. I've knocked on several doors, and to address the COVID situation, how I do it, I knock on the door, and then I stand back, and then I hand them my card, and I step back again. I talk with them from a distance. Okay? So I believe in knocking on doors. I think it's important to do that. I haven't gotten to every door yet. I've gotten to a lot of them. I'm still working on my map, but if I don't make it to your door, I'm sorry about that. I'm trying. But working a full-time job, raising a family, having a wife, other priorities, it only affords me limited time and hours during the week. But I certainly believe in knocking on doors and getting everybody's opinion. And I've gotten several opinions and met a lot of people here in Sylacauga.
Thank you. Next question is for Mr. Lee Pearman. This is from Ms. Janet Jones. 4 years ago, we had twice a week garbage pickup plus recycling. Now we have once a week pickup for the same price. Plus, I just heard that our recycled garbage is not even being recycled. It's just going to the regular dump site. Why am I still recycling?
Let me start with the recycling question first. China used to buy a lot of recycled materials from America. They don't buy it anymore. Republic Services and other providers are no longer able to sell recycling. There's no market in it. They are also worried because a lot of what is put in recycling containers by us and in other communities is contaminated. A cardboard pizza box that has pizza juice on it is not recyclable. It has to go into regular trash. They have done their best to be able to keep up with recycling but can't. The city has no plans to stop recycling. It doesn't mean that Republic Services is still viable in the recycling business. As far as 2-day-a-week trash pickup, again, over 80% of the people were not filling the trash cans every day that they were available. We needed to divert that money to more useful community-wide services, which was starting to pave roads. People who do need extra trash cans can buy extra trash cans for a small amount of money. It doesn't make sense to people to pay for something they're not using, so we chose to move the money to something people do use.
Bruce? This question is for Donnie Blackman from Chris Parker. Mr. Blackman, the records have shown you have voted no every time a business or event wanted to sell alcohol. Why? Does not that bring in revenue? When you were on the council, you wanted to rescind Little League's contract. You said on TV that you voted yes on what you were told by other council members. Why do you not do your own investigation?
I did do my own investigation, and we made some mistakes on that. I'll admit that. Now, when we said we had the intent to make that contract annul, like this piece of paper laying here is laying there, and my intentions are to pick it up. My understanding at that time was that didn't mean I was going to pick it up. But now we got two leagues there we're talking about. We got the boys Little League baseball. We got the girls Little League softball. We went back and we revised that, and the contract, the original contract up is 2024 is when it's up. Now, what we did, we went back and revised that and made it fair and equal to both leagues. The boys, we gave them the two fields down on the bottom. The girls was Robert Field up on the top. They're still doing all of their maintenance, their grass cutting. And back then people were saying, well, it's all about the kids, and it's all about the kids. And listen, it is about the kids. But one of my statements was it's not all about the kids. It's about the adults. It's the volunteered part of their life to serve our Little League and every function in the city. Now, hopefully, when 2024 comes about, there'll be a new contract comes up. Oh, well, okay. All right.
Time's up. This question is for Mr. DeCory Hale from J.T. Thomas. question is, you labeled yourself as a community organizer, and you are involved in Black Lives Matter and organizations. How often will we see Black Lives Matter protests or organizations come to pass if you are elected?
Well, first of all, I didn't know I was in Black Lives Matter. Second of all, I did a peaceful protest maybe a month or two ago. Mayor Heigl was there. A lot of the people that were standing here were there. I'm sure they're not in Black Lives Matter as well. My thing is, I'm here for the people. I'm here for the citizens of Sylacauga because we're people first. And yes, I am a community organizer. That means that the things that people talk about they want to do, those are the things that I do. I'm boots on the ground every day. Everything I put on that list, for every one thing you saw on that list, I probably do 3 more things that you don't see and I don't talk about because that's me. I'm not a big talker. So the Black Lives Matter, whatever you want to take from that is what you want to take from it. But when I do that food drive every year at SAFE, when I feed 50 and 100 families, I don't ask them, are they black? I serve them.
Let's put our hands together in appreciation for all our candidates participating tonight. Great job by all of you. And a great job of questions. Very well thought out questions. Now, the next step is for you to go to the polls and vote. On August 25th, you've heard the candidates. You'll be hearing more from them in days to come. Vote for the candidate of your choice. And as we leave this auditorium tonight, may God bless you, and may God continue to richly bless America. Be safe. Thanks for coming.